Welcome to the Saturday Project. Today I want to discuss the preparation for a road trip with you. These are some of the things I do and some of the techniques I use now whenever I'm going on a road trip with my family or by myself or on business. And as you can see, if you've watched my recent videos, my big Texas adventure road trip video from a week ago, I went ahead and followed all the rules and still had quite the adventure. Anyway, today I thought I'd go over with you some of the procedures and some of the tricks I use and some of the shortcuts that'll help any type of road trip adventure you decide to have this summer with your family or with your friends. Save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time, save you a lot of headaches. Of course, like anything else, planning is key, but even with the best planning, things can go wrong. So to help avoid those things, I have a short checklist I like to go over. First one is always thoroughly checking out the vehicle. I'll come down, I'll give it my own version of a 21-point inspection. I'll check all the fluids, I'll look for any loose connections, I'll clean all around to see if anything's leaking anywhere. I'll make sure everything is topped up and I'll open it up when it's the appropriate time. Right now the engine's a little hot, I just pulled it up to the middle of the driveway. I'll brush everything off and make sure that everything looks in order. Then, to get a little more sophisticated in a little bit, I'll definitely pull out all the tabs, check all the connections, check all the wiring, make sure the filters are changed, make sure every surface is clean, double check the hoses, make sure they aren't expanded or leaking anywhere, top up all the fluids, check all the air filters and sensors that are available for me to check. And this way, at least I know I've looked everything over one time. Later on, I'm going to show you what I do after that. I used to be quite the bold person and just do it myself. But, you know, after you live and learn a little bit more, you find out that there's some other steps that could help prevent any type of large financial loss or loss of time or just make the trip really unfun. So right now, like I said, just going over some of the key points, brushing everything off. Next thing I'll do is, everything looks pretty good under here. Actually was just under the hood a few weeks ago. I always check under my hood, but let's just say I was going on a trip. I'd be under here today checking every single key point, all these type of connectors, wires, give them a tug, see, you should have some movement, but it shouldn't come out. You know, don't be afraid, because if you don't find out now, you're going to find out when you're on the road, and that's going to be the wrong time to find out. So the first thing I like to do after I check the engine compartment is actually just wash the whole car. By washing the whole car, you'll be able to see if you're leaking fluids anywhere, if you have any hanging moldings or wires or any kind of things that could possibly complicate your trip if you're taking your own car. You're going to want to inspect the glass, look for any cracks. This is the time where, you know, 1,800 miles on the road, a crack is going to kill you. It's going to shatter if you hit some hail. No one ever expects to hit any hail. Hail finds you. You don't find it. I always check the rear out. Make sure everything's good. Give it a quick wipe down. Make sure I don't have any buildup that's down here on the pipes that shouldn't be here, because, you know, that's a giveaway. That giveaway that something's going on in your exhaust system. Best way to check always is by washing the whole car down. Give a good thorough cleaning. I'm going to pull out the pressure washer today. I have some other things I have to do. And then I'm going to take you around to what I do next when I'm done inspecting my car, because it's one of the more important aspects. It's one of the things I learned, that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So let's get to washing the car, and then we'll get out to step 2.
That's how you prep a car.
So after you're done with your personal inspection, the next place you want to go is right here behind me. You need to take your vehicle to a professional mechanic, even though I know you probably don't like to, and take advantage of when they have their free inspections. Most mechanics, your neighborhood mechanics, your large chain mechanics, they'll all offer a 21-point inspection for free or for like, very little cost, $20 to $30. If you're going cross country or anywhere out of state and you plan on taking your own vehicle, then it is imperative that you bring your car to a professional if you've checked it yourself first, and if not, to have them check it either way, because you don't want to run into costly repairs on the road. They'll be 3 to 5 times more than they usually are, and it will be a sad day when you could have spent $21.95 instead of $2,195 to fix something like a radiator, a cooling system, a fuel pump. Check around your neighborhood, find a local mechanic, make an appointment, take your car up there first. It's the extra set of eyes and hands poking around where you don't want to, or you automatically overlook it because you feel that it's in good condition, or you just changed that recently. That's not good enough when you're taking a long trip. You need other eyes on the job. The more eyes, the more hands looking at it, the less likely you are to run into any kind of mechanical difficulties. They're going to look at things that you didn't want to look at. They're going to look at things you didn't think about. They're not going to charge you much, if anything at all. Anything they find, you go and take for a second opinion before you get it worked on, or you fix it yourself. They've just diagnosed the car for you. There's no downside to this. But you most definitely need to take it to a mechanic, have them do a coolant check, have them do an AC check, have them check your heater, depending on what environment you go into, but it can't hurt anyway to have it done. Definitely make sure you change all your fluids or have them change all your fluids, including your transmission fluid, because it's usually overlooked and never done. So it's most important that you definitely get that done before you get on the road. It isn't very expensive. Like I said, it's not going to take you a lot of time, and the financial savings and the peace of mind that you'll gain by having had that done before you go on the trip is priceless. I can't tell you. In the beginning, when I first started making my road trips, it was kind of the thing that I avoided doing because I simply knew my car really good, or I thought I did. And, I was lucky. I never had any problems when I took my own vehicles on the road. But next I'm going to show you the final format that I created for traveling cross country that I believe personally for me and for most people is going to be the best experience for you. Utilizing your own vehicle is very risky, like I've said before. You incur all the repair expenses. You're responsible for wherever you break down at, getting it to a mechanic. You're left without a vehicle when you get back home. It's a high risk just for a trip, especially if it's only a vacation style trip. If it's business or if it's medical and unavoidable, you have no choice, you have no choice. But most of us are taking these road trips for vacation with our families. It's the worst possible time to find out you need a fuel pump or your water pump is gone. They're going to charge you $600-700 to make those repairs on the road. If you see this guy now, it's going to be $200 or $300 before you go, or you may have to change your plans. You never know, depending. But either way, this is the way to go. You're going to have to come to one of these guys, have them check your tires, have them check your engine, have them check your coolant system, have them check your starting system. They have a whole plan laid out. They have a 21-point inspection they do. Your brakes, your tail lights, your headlights, your turning signals. These are all the things that when you're on the road, you're going to be ticketed for by the state troopers in all the lovely different states you go to, because that's how those counties, municipalities make their money. So to avoid all that, see them first, get it done first. $20, $50, $100, you're still going to save hundreds of dollars. The tow alone is going to cost you well over $100. Next thing I want to go into is definitely, I want to mention AAA. If you're going on a road trip, it's worth every penny. It's around $100 a year for a single account, around $150 a year for a couple's account. You're going to be covered for towing up to 100 miles. You're going to be covered for free roadside service anywhere in the country at any time. You're going to be covered for, having a locksmith come out and get you in that car if you lock yourself out anywhere in the country, any time of the day or night. If you plan on going on the road, even for your own, neighborhood usage, AAA, I'm saying definitely going to need to have that. So, as much as you may hate it like I do, this is where you want to go next. You want to definitely get your vehicle checked out by a mechanic, a pro, a local, a chain, but somewhere professional. Otherwise, you're going to pay the price. Even for a tire, instead of it being $100, it's going to be $250 or $300, and then the tow. So, up to you. But for me, my way, I inspect my vehicle, I take it to a mechanic, and I'm a great mechanic. But, you know, gotta have it. Check number 2 on your list. So of course, you know, for me, the only way to go is renting a car. Using a place like Avis or Hertz or Budget or whoever you can get a rental car from, that's the way you're gonna wanna go. It's unlimited mileage, it's free roadside assistance. Anything that happens to the car, it's on them. You use your major credit card to rent the car. Most MasterCards and Visa cards cover the insurance 100% if you don't put your own insurance up front. So lesson 1, call your credit cards, MasterCards and Visa cards. Ask them if they offer global rental car insurance. If they say yes, ask them the terms. They'll tell you. Term number 1 is usually never give your own insurance when you rent the car. Use the credit card as the form of insurance. So I have personally done that and had 3 accidents, 1 major, 2 minor, where the vehicle was totally damaged in the major one, where the front end was just crushed, 100% covered by the credit card. The other 2 minor ones had hit a piece of road stripping on the way back from Texas, took off the bottom part molding of the vehicle, 100% covered. Third one, something similar. Bolt flew off the back of a truck, cracked the headlight and dented the hood on a brand new Town and Country, 100% covered by the credit card. So MasterCard, usually all of them cover it 100%. The advantages into using the rent-a-car are beyond belief if it's financially viable for you. If you go with the smallest car, you can usually get a car for around $26 a day. If you rent it through a third party, like Priceline, I've gotten vehicles from Budget at $8 a day. You have to go get them at the airport and return them to an airport, but literally, unlimited mileage, $8 a day, free insurance coverage through my credit card. You can't beat that. And you're allowed to take these vehicles anywhere in the continental US. So I always rent when I'm driving cross country. Last time I rented from here was when I brought my son back from Texas, and I actually got it from Budget, which is their sister company, and that rental was on a giant SUV. You saw that. That was less than $1,000 for the entire week. So anyway, as you see, if you want to get a rental, this is the place to do it. They're going to cover it. They're going to have the roadside assistance. They're going to cover the insurance on your credit card. You're going to save your own car, and you can enjoy just using their car. You don't even have to clean it when you bring it back, as long as it's not reasonably or unreasonably dirty. Boom, bring it back to them, completely covered. So definitely, you see, they didn't like that I'm taping here, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I bring them tons of business, kind of rude, but it's all right, doesn't bother me. You get used to it when you do a YouTube video. People always trying to chase you out. Makes it more interesting, right? Anyway, plug for them, use their service, it's great for you. Last but not least, we're gonna go over the car one more time, and you're gonna see exactly what you need to know before you get on the trip. So, mechanic, rent the car. Last thing will be planning. Planning, number 1, most important. But again, you want to use these guys. They're going to mitigate any damages, and they got brand new vehicles to use. So, you know, give it a shot. I do it. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. It's definitely the way to go. And it's more comfortable. You know, you're not worried about spilling something. You're not worried about, you know, the kids roaming around in the back, dropping fast food. As long as you pick up the bulk of it and get it out, you're all covered. Anyway, we'll go on to the next location. We'll wrap this up, go over some basic things that you should know and take with you. And then, you know, you've seen what's happened to me, it can happen to you. But if you try doing it this way, you're gonna mitigate a lot of those problems, bypass them, and even if you run into them like I did, I chose to change that tire. I didn't have to. They would have come out and done it for me. But I wanted to do it, just to save myself some time. But let's get to the next location, show you what it's all about. And this way you guys will be ready for your summer trip. So the last place that you want to stop before you head out on your trip is right here, Advanced Auto Parts, or O'Reilly's, or AutoZone, or whatever chain parts place they have in your city or state. The reason I always come here before I go on any trip is I change my wiper blades. They take care of that for you. They have the right size and they'll do it. Some of them are a little tricky today to snap on, so better let them do it. So if they screw it up, it's another free blade anyway. They'll test your battery in your vehicle for you. They'll give it another 21-point inspection of their own, where they go around and look at things like light bulbs and brake lights and tail lights and signals, the little type of things that your mechanic may have overlooked because he's not really that interested in making that type of money, or, you know, just good to have it checked twice anyway. Plus, they have all the little knickknacks you may want to pick up that you thought about at the last minute. Tire gauge, always good to have. Plug set, good to carry with you. Even if you have a rent-a-car, if it pays just to throw a plug in the tire, which I didn't do, because I didn't bring one with me because I wasn't thinking far enough ahead that time, because I flew out and drove back. I usually drive both ways and I bring my whole kit with my tools and everything. But since I was flying one way, I forgot and I didn't bring my tools, and I always have a tire plug kit, $3.95. I would not have had to change that tire. I would have pulled over, I would have let some air out, I would have jacked it up, put a plug in it, and rolled right on out of there, 10, 20 minutes tops instead of the 1 hour. But changing the tire was more effective. I had 800 miles to go, so you know, you don't want to do a plug on 800 miles. But sometimes you have to. You don't have a full-size spare. I got very lucky I did. Sometimes you don't want to. It's just you're 25, 30 miles from the house, so it doesn't make any sense to change a tire when you can throw a 5-minute plug in there and get it back to the rental place. Or if it's your own tire, you know, you don't want to really discard it or anything. So, you know, little things like that. A flashlight, a tire plug kit, a pressure gauge, you know, just the little things that you may not have with you that you definitely want to have. So if you take a walk through this place, you know, it'll all hit you. You'll be like, oh yeah, I need one of those, and oh yeah, I want one of those. And they'll come up to you. They're real super helpful. They'll ask what you're doing, where you're going, if you need A, B, and C that they know people run into commonly. And it's worth the 5-10 minute stop that you make here. Make some friends, you never know in the future. If you have any questions, if you need a second opinion about anything that the mechanics have been telling you, these guys will have answers for you, or at least push you in the right direction, or can turn you on to a mechanic that does have the answers. So my last bit of advice is always stop by your local auto parts place, have a chat with them, let them give your car a once over, pick up the little things you never change, like your tail lights, you know, good to have extra ones, brake lights for sure. They're just bulbs today, it's not a whole housing, so it's better to have those bulbs in your glove box. And if you know you notice when you're leaving a gas station you need one, boom, you can smack it right in. Wiper blades, always going to use good wiper blades. So like I said, last thing you want to do before you head on out of town, when you have your car all ready and set, come to AutoZone or Auto Parts Place, take a walk through, see what you may need, ask a couple of questions, just make your trip that much more safe. That's way more important than saving $5 or $10 or 10 or 15 minutes. All right, everyone. I hope that's been helpful to you. That's my insight on road trips. That's how I go about planning them. Those are the rules I follow. Those are the steps I take before I get on the road. Following those simple rules actually avoid a lot of headaches in the end and financial expense that you're not ready to burden after being on vacation. A little pre-active planning saves you a lot of expense, hassle, and headache in the end. So this is what works for me. I've been doing it for the last 7 years. I actually think if you refer back to my big Texas adventure road trip video from last week, it went kind of wrong, which I think is a better example than all my other ones that went absolutely perfect with no problems whatsoever. So gonna link to the videos from that trip, give you a good idea what happens when you're on a 1,600-mile trip towing a car. It was pretty funny too. A lot of good eats, a lot of good sights, but hope it's been helpful. That's our Saturday project for today. Y'all know how we do it. Comment, like, subscribe. Love you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you on Monday.